Welcome to our Capital Recovery Center, where we focus on two key concepts. How can we help you with your recovery today? And what does recovery mean to you? Tune in Tuesdays at 10 a.m. to our coffee and conversation meeting and Thursdays at 1 p.m. to our All Recovery meeting. For updated information, follow our Capital Recovery Center Facebook page.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our All Recovery meeting. My name is Karen, and I'm one of your recovery coaches.
Good afternoon, I'm Craig.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael, one of your recovery coaches. Good afternoon, everyone. All right. How's everybody doing today? We got any announcements? Any roles coming up?
I think the first week of February 2nd on Wednesday, Recovery on Wheels will be out at Wendy's, the original Wendy's.
The original Wendy's. And what about Monday? PD? We at Bonnie? No, what was that last?
Last time we was at
Monday.
Millville
Millville?
Police Department.
Oh, all right. So we should be in Millville, and the week before that, we should be in Richmond. Probably be in Richmond if we was in Millville.
Yeah.
So other than that, we don't have any other announcements, I don't believe.
No, just check out our recovery spotlight.
Yeah, coming up. And go to Capital Recovery Center page and check out the recovery spotlights. And we also had, we'll be having some new spotlights coming up for the month of February. If you would like to share your story or your recovery success, just go to Capital Recovery Center's Facebook page. Look for one of the flyers where it says Recovery Spotlight. There's a link in the description. You can click the link, and with your permission, we will share your recovery success story. The reason why we do that is because some people will start the recovery process if they know you personally and see how your life have changed. So you can be some inspiration for somebody that might know you. So last few weeks we've been sticking with this wellness, 8 dimensions of wellness. So this is something that we're going to be doing here at Capital Recovery Center. And so we decided to take each one of these dimensions and deal with it and give you some information on each of the dimensions. The first one we did last week was emotional. Today we're going to start environmental. So we're going to start a lesson on the second dimension of wellness, and it's environmental, which is a good topic. So we probably do some of it today, some of it Tuesday, to give you a better understanding of all the 8 dimensions and that's dealing with wellness. This particular handout came from 7summitpathways.com. Also, the description for this lesson for you to get on your own is in the description as well. So this is ways your environment impacts your recovery. So again, remember, we're talking about the 8 dimensions of wellness. This is the dimension number 2. And we want to start. Who want to start off? Anybody? I'll go. Y'all want to?
No, go ahead.
Hey, listen, man. Environmental. Hey, man, I'm still.
What is article about?
7.
You said it already?
Yeah, but we can say it again.
No,
Just in case, 7summitpathways.com. You can go to their website. They have a whole list of stuff on their website. And it's got an unlimited amount of things that you can go to this site and see. One day we're going to do a PowerPoint of all the services we provide here as well. Let's see. Environmental influence is something most people understand on a fundamental level. A host of variables in a person's environment affect personality, attitudes, and habits. So it makes sense that environments shape a person's relationship to drugs and alcohol. Research shows that developing an addiction is about 50% genetic and 50% environmental. That's so true. I always use the analogy, or I always say that In my neighborhood growing up, there were people who worked for a living and went to work, hard work, and did things that were positive. It was people in my neighborhood who ain't work at all, sold drugs, and did things that are negative. I focused on the people who were doing things that was negative in my environment. I did not, even though I knew that it was positive in my environment, what I gave attention to was the negative. So 50% genetic, 50% is environmental, depending on what you're focused on. What role does your environment play in your recovery? The people, dynamics, and physical surroundings a person's life, a person's lives which can help or hinder the ability to successfully maintain sobriety, my favorite word. Here are 6 of the most significant environmental factors to consider. The first one, number 1, ding, 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 you are the next. Unresolved childhood stress forms addictive behaviors. This is very true. Childhood trauma is one of the leading environmental causes of addiction. Mental health experts refers to traumatic events, including abuse, neglect, household dysfunction, as adverse childhood experiences. When these experiences build up over time, they have a profound impact on a child's neurodevelopment. Adverse childhood experiences disrupt typical development of areas in the brain that allow the child to cope with disruptions and negative emotions. As a result of their delayed or stunt emotional development, so true, children develop a variation of unhealthy coping mechanism, including drugs and alcohol. These facts from multiple studies on ACEs, and addiction show the scope of this environmental influence. Unresolved childhood stress forms addictive behaviors. It's so true because I think about a lot of things that happened when I was young, when I was a kid, and I didn't actually talk about them until I was like a teenager, but even it happened when I was younger. And it's funny because in my particular house, we have pictures when I was like 6 and 7. And in these pictures, you see me as a little kid, and in my house, they're having a party. Everybody's drinking and everything. They like, I'm sitting in the picture like, why am I even in the picture? Because it was everybody was doing whatever they was doing, and they in the picture, everybody when they see the picture, they say, "What were you doing?" I was like, "I was home. There's a party in my house, and I was woke. I was just sitting around them." But that environment played a part on things that I have done. That's real. That's true. Children who suffer from ACEs typically begin drinking earlier in their peers, making the usual underage drinking prevention programs less effective for this group. ACEs is also linked with developing mental health disorders and addiction later in life. At age 50 and up, that's tough business right there, man. One study indicated that for each additional ACEs, the number of prescription drugs the study subject use increased. So this is talking about unresolved childhood stress forms and how unresolved childhood stress forms addictive behaviors. Let's see. While you can't change the environment you grew up in, it's critical to find a recovery environment where you feel comfortable addressing the trauma. This is very important. That underpins your addiction. That means setting aside time for yourself to reflect on the process of your feelings. Me and Craig mentioned that. I always say you got to get down to the core. We know you use the substance, but you need to get down to the core why that process started. But some people just think they just started doing it because they never dig down to the core. And sometimes it might be unresolved childhood stress. Not all the times, but you should dig in that well to find out if it's so. Sometimes the home environment is not conducive to personal reflections or working on therapy homework, and you will need to alter your surroundings to best tackle your feelings. For example, if people you live with are noisy, You may want to minimize the impact by investing in noise canceling headphones. I was going to say, man, I got a brand new pair of headphones. I put my headphones on so much so that when I put them on, I go tell my wife, if you want me, you're going to have to come get me because I ain't going to hear you. Oh, man. So remember, one of the environmentals that impact your recovery is unresolved childhood stress. Unresolved childhood stress. What else we got?
Number 2. It talks about family dynamics can intensify stress. Unfortunately, family relationships can be a significant source of stress for many individuals. In the process of developing a substance use disorder, family ties tend to become extremely strained. As the addiction worsens, the person will shift their focus to drugs or alcohol over maintaining positive relationships, often cutting ties to allow continued drug and alcohol use. In some cases, the addicted person would take extremely harmful actions such as causing big fights or stealing.
That's true.
That's so true. When you can't get along, you feel that there's no other outlet. And so that's where it talks about, this article talks about alcohol and drugs, but also there's other behaviors that come along, like joining the gang and things of that nature. But we're going to keep the focus on alcohol and drugs. Once in recovery, the way family interacts with the individual may create a very stressful dynamic. For example, attending a family gathering might involve getting pestered with questions about treatment and the state of recovery, which can get uncomfortable very quickly. Spending time in a judgmental environment can erode mental health and make sobriety more challenging to maintain.
When everybody in your environment talking about when you go get some help, everybody, when you come around, the whole conversation shifts to when you get some treatment
And you ain't ready.
and you ain't ready.
I'm all right.
Oh, yeah. Questions about, it says, involve getting pestered by questions about treatment.
Sobriety.
When you gonna get it? I mean, how old are you? When you gonna get? So these are, remember, we're talking about ways your environment impacts your recovery. So when you get around that type of situation, and your family honestly might have the good heart to mean well, but if it's not the right time for it, you at the gathering, everybody knows that the family that you actually have this issue. It's not like a secret. Everybody knows. And it have people who just keep bringing up that topic at the wrong time. It doesn't make you comfortable trying to get help, even though you might know you need it.
Yeah. Because right at that stage, your mind is very cloudy.
Yeah.
And you're in an mind-altering state. On the other hand, a positive and supportive family environment can be a significant asset. When being in the presence of family provides comfort, that space can foster a greater sense of accountability and strengthen the resolve to stay sober. And so having a strong support network is very important. And so whoever may be listening, stick with them. It might be a rocky road, but
Positive, find some. If you can't find a positive support environment in your family, reach out to recovery coaches, sponsors, or spiritual advisors, somebody else that you can get the positive support that you need and won't be that judgmental for you. It'll help you in the recovery process.
not every family relationship is repairable, but family therapy is an excellent place to start when possible. Get help. A lot of times we don't burn a lot of our bridges.
Yeah.
For a lot of people who don't know any outlets or linkage to certain therapy, or you may feel that you don't have the money or the cost, don't give up, because there are some programs that do accept certain insurance. And so you never know that if you may have private insurance or you don't. Give us a call. We'll look around for you.
But remember, family therapy is very important. One of the things that helped me in my recovery walk with my 13 years of being free from it is getting the family dynamic dealt with, because a lot of times the person with the substance use, if you don't deal with the family, you can actually bring a person who went to get clean home to the family that they destroyed, and now it's going to push you right back out to what you did. So whenever you sign up for treatment, be open to having a family session. That's one of the very important things in early recovery. Is it's something that should not get overlooked. Your counselor or recovery, whoever you're dealing with, to ask them about doing a family session. And also, he read something right here that I don't want you to be fooled about, is not every family relationship is repairable. That means that some relationships that you destroyed due to your substance use is not guaranteed all of them will be repaired. So if a counselor, recovery, or whoever they are tell you that all of them can be repaired, I gotta be honest, they're not telling you the truth. And for you to feel that everyone will be repaired will basically set you up for failure. So I want you to understand that every family dynamic or family situation will not be, it can be repaired, but some of them may not be repaired, because what you did to make the situation how it is, some people just might never get over it. All right. Number three,
social environments may facilitate relapse. Humans are social beings by nature, but the nature is one of the leading environmental causes of addiction. Most people don't walk up to a stranger and ask to try a drug for the first time. In the majority of cases, the person's social environment facilitates their first instance of substance abuse. When someone is in a location with peers who are drinking or doing drugs, that activity automatically becomes more acceptable. This perspective shift can cause people to try substances they wouldn't in other social settings. Likewise, a dangerous social environment in recovery can trigger irrational thoughts like, I'll just have one, or I'll just have enough to take the edge off. If you can avoid these circumstances altogether, you can eliminate a whole subset of triggers. Some ways you can strengthen your recovery by changing your social environment include avoiding locations like bars or parties where you know there will be drugs or alcohol, building a strategy to firmly saying no if offered a substance, reducing or eliminating time spent with friends who drink or use.
nice.
We were just talking about that
I know.
yesterday, right?
Yeah, you have, there's no way around it. Social environments may facilitate relapse. When someone is in a location with peers who are drinking or doing drugs, that activity automatically becomes more acceptable. Surround yourself around people with, I learned this about 6 or 7 years ago. Surround yourself around people where it makes it impossible for you to use. What I mean by that is the people I hang around and be around in my life today, right? None of them are smokers, none of them are drinkers, none of them are current drug users, right? So if I was to pull out something to smoke around them, they'll all look at me like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So I made it like whereas it'll be, now if I'm around a bunch of people who are doing it and I do it, nobody will say what I'm doing. Because they use it. It's the environment. But if you surround yourself with people who aren't doing it, the chances is better of you refraining from it, because nobody around you is doing that. It's really, even conversation wise, if you're always around people who always make excuses, sooner or later you're gonna make excuses. It's like your environment. Yeah, I'm telling you, you like, man, I can't do it. I can't do it. If you're around people who say, no, you can do it, even though you messed up and failed, try again. The more you are around that environment, your social environment is very important.
I like that. That brought me to an old saying. Yeah, see, I'm old here, so I must say some old things now and then. But like mind travel and like circles.
That's true.
So like how Mike eloquently put it, but that is so profound. You know. My mother used to say, 2 birds in a feather
Flock together.
right?
Hey, and also she read, if you avoid these circumstances altogether, you can eliminate a whole subset of triggers. If you eliminate those situations, like we don't even have this environment in our circle at all, you can eliminate it. Just leave. I got the ability to just leave, especially if I got my own key. I'm out.
Oh, yeah.
That's
That's the best feeling in the
I got
world.
my own keys. He was like, man, where you at? Man, I'm home. I came too far, man. I'm out of here. Where we at? 4? Work environment can trigger relapse behavior. Uh-oh. Full blown or relapse. Let's see what we got.
Talk about it.
It's no secret that Americans get stressed at work. According to American Institute on Stress, 80% of workers experience stress at work. 40% of workers feel their job is very or extremely stressful. Not everyone knows how to handle it. That's the key to stress. Stress is unavoidable. How to handle it is the answer to it. Some people can't handle stress. They handle it wrong. Either as almost half of the workers report needing help learning to manage their stress. Learning to manage. See that again? Not everyone knows how to handle, and everybody reports needing help learning to manage their stress. Coping skills. Come on, man. We got another one there. Because stress is often one of the most powerful triggers a person can have. The wrong work environment can make it harder to stay sober. I gotta tell you that I'm glad I don't have that type of situation. Listen, but most people do work. Everybody are not fortunate to have a situation where when they wake up Sunday, they say, man, I gotta go to work. Like it's dreading Monday. You know what I mean? So sometimes that's a stressful situation. Some work environments are more conducive to drugs and alcohol use. For example, data from the most recent national survey on drug use and health indicated that mining industry workers had a past month heavy alcohol use rate 17% compared to 8% of industrials. Meanwhile, 19% accommodations and food service workers used illicit drugs compared to the average of 8%. It can be difficult to function socially in the work environment where drugs and alcohol is prevalent, making it more challenging to succeed at both work and recovery. So this is one of the ways your environment impacts your recovery. And it's talking about how your work environment can trigger a relapse. So if you're in that situation, that's why we've talked about this again, that support network, because everybody is not able to dictate where they're going to work and where they won't work. So that's not everybody's case. So if you can't dictate where you will work and where you won't work, you have to build up your support network and develop relapse prevention skills to make it easier in your recovery walk. All right, let's get to. Let's do that. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about how we handle conflicts calmly and professionally.
All right.
If you do end up stuck with coworkers you can't get along with, all right, or who intentionally try to derail your recovery, remaining calm and behaving professionally is the best thing you can do to keep your environment civil. It's okay to walk away from situations until you can put some of your coping skills to use and calm down. That don't mean that you walk away from a situation that you've been punked or somebody. You're just gathering yourself. You're thinking rationally in ways of how to handle an intense situation. Once you, like the article said, once you calm down, you better respond appropriately. Turn your focus inward. Self-inventory. How are you feeling? Self-evaluate. how can you, respond to this situation? And see if there's anything you can do to prevent conflict and consider others' perspective to understand the situation more fully. We all,
Handle conflict calmly.
yeah, we all gonna face it.
Yeah, you're gonna have conflict. To the best of my ability, I try to handle it calmly. Like I don't know. I don't understand what's going on.
It don't concern me.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know how it happened. So you got to be calm, except when necessary. If you don't end up stuck with coworkers you can't get along with, or who intentionally try to derail your recovery. Remember, I said it before, just a few minutes ago. Everybody's not able to dictate where they won't work. So the only alternative you have to handle conflict is develop your coping skills and talk to your sponsor, your mentor, spiritual advisors, friends, families, your support network. Tap into your support network. You can contact us here at Capital Recovery Center, and we can help you try to pinpoint some type of coping skills that you can use to deal with some type of conflict. What y'all think? We want to finish the next one, Susan?
Yeah.
Huh?
We'll do it Tuesday.
We can recap
Recap. You want to
and
recap?
then finish. No, I mean Tuesday.
Tuesday. Oh, perfect.
So next week we still got more of this. Remember, we want to try to stay on this environment thing. So we'll go recap this next week, and then we'll conclude with what we have, because we got plenty here. We got plenty here for you guys. All right. I want to get to that holistic part. My main man. It's a holistic part in here. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. See you Tuesday.